All right, here to respond to Joe Biden's appeasement abroad, Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Energy is very important in Texas. So with the stroke of a pen, high-paying career energy jobs wiped out. With the stroke of a pen, energy independence is wiped out. And then Joe Biden gives a waiver to Russia and Vladimir Putin to build a pipeline to supply energy and get rich to our Western European allies and others. Now, Senator, maybe you can help sort that out. I didn't graduate from Harvard. You did.
Well, Sean, sadly, I can't shed a whole lot of light on it. It is absolutely crazy what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are doing. On day one in office, Joe Biden shut down the Keystone Pipeline. He destroyed 11,000 jobs, high-paying jobs, including 8,000 union jobs. Then Biden sat by and allowed Russian hackers to hack the Colonial Pipeline, producing gas lines up and down the eastern seaboard. He did nothing to defend it. He sat by while they paid a ransom to Russian hackers. And now his reward to Russia for Russian hackers shutting down a major infrastructure pipeline on the eastern seaboard is today he signed a waiver basically greenlighting the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, a pipeline from Russia to Germany. Congress has twice passed bipartisan sanctions to stop this pipeline. I authored those sanctions. We stopped the pipeline for a year. It was shut down. It was a piece of metal at the bottom of the ocean. Putin began rebuilding the pipeline right after Biden was elected. Today, he issued a waiver. And basically what Joe Biden has decided is pipelines in America, bad. Jobs in America, bad. Pipelines in Russia, good. Jobs in Russia, good. And this is exactly backward. It is asinine. And 4 months into it, Joe Biden is crawling into bed with Putin and Russia and the enemies of America. It doesn't make any sense.
And then you've got Russia now aligned with China, providing arms to Iran so that they can ship them to Yemen, so that the proxy war can continue in the Middle East there as well. Let me get to the issue of Iran, because we've got some problems there, too. He wants to get along with the mullahs in Iran again, as we know that they are the #1 world sponsor of terrorism. And what is it with this idea that Joe Biden's going to lecture Prime Minister Netanyahu from doing the right thing, which is defending his country that is under attack and assault by a group whose charter calls for the destruction of Israel?
Sean, you're exactly right. What Biden and Kamala Harris are pursuing is exactly backwards. Our friends and allies, the people we should be standing alongside and with, he's alienating, undermining, insulting, lecturing, and attacking. Our enemies, the people who want to kill us, he's sending money to, supporting, praising, and kissing their rear ends. So whether that is Russia and Biden signing off on the Putin pipeline, whether that is China and Biden nominating pro-China cabinet nominees who are unwilling to stand up to Chinese aggression, or whether it is Iran and Biden wanting to send billions of dollars to the Ayatollah Khamenei who chants death to America. You know, if you think about it, Sean, 9 months ago, in the Middle East, we had peace flowering everywhere. We had the Abraham Accords. I was at the White House for the signing of the Abraham Accords. Incredible victories that President Trump had won by standing strongly and unequivocally with Israel. Joe Biden came in, and in just 4 months, he's frittered all of that away. He's undermined Israel and Prime Minister Netanyahu. He sent over $100 million to the Palestinian Authority, with the PA, which is in bed with Hamas. Hamas, the terrorists that are firing those rockets you're showing right now, they've fired over 4,000 rockets into Israel, and every one of those rockets might as well have Joe Biden's name written on the side of it, because it is his weakness, his appeasement, his moral relativism and ambiguity, his lack of backbone to stand up and stand with Israel that is causing this war in the Middle East. Let me tell you what, Sean, what he ought to do. He ought to stand up and say, rather than lecturing Netanyahu, rather than being arrogant and attacking our friends, he ought to say, America stands unequivocally with Israel. Period. The end. The Hamas terrorists need to stop right now. Israel has an absolute right to defend itself. If Hamas terrorists attack Israel, they will be dealt with and they will be killed. And he needs to right now replenish Israel's Iron Dome missiles. They are firing missiles to intercept these Hamas rockets. They fired thousands of Iron Dome missiles, but instead, Joe Biden is appeasing AOC and Tlaib and the radical left.
All right. It's clear to me, and it's inexplicable to me, neither Biden nor Pelosi nor Schumer condemn the squad and virulent anti-Semitism that has existed among some of the members that we've chronicled in detail on this program. My question now is, okay, with the instability created in the Middle East, the new unholy alliance, Russia, China, and Iran fighting the proxy war, eliminating energy independence here at home, the price of oil is already going up, knocking out high-paying career energy jobs for people in your state of Texas and elsewhere. Yeah. Okay, what's the net result? We hurt our national security, and we pay more for everything we buy in every store, coupled with inflation. And also, we pay more for gas to fill up our tanks, more for heating, more for cooling our homes. Who wins here?
The bad guys and the enemies of America. This has been the most disastrous first 4 months of any presidency in history. Joe Biden has handed the Democratic Party over to the radical left, to Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and AOC. We've got a border crisis of an absolutely unsecured border and over 2 million people projected to come here illegally this year. We have a gas crisis of gas lines and skyrocketing energy prices. We're on the verge of an inflation crisis as the inflation numbers are rising up and up and up and up. And we've got war in the Middle East. We're 4 months in. It's a little terrifying to think what's going to happen in the next 4 months. All of these are failures of the Biden administration. I got to tell you what this is. This is a reprise of the 1970s. You and I are both old enough to remember the 1970s. Joe Biden is Jimmy Carter 2.0. Kamala Harris is Walter Mondale. And the disasters they're producing are failing at home, economically, domestically, and abroad. And we got to stop it. We need to stand with Israel, stand with our friend. And I'm leading the fight to do exactly that. And I'm headed to Israel very shortly to stand with Israel and ensure they have what they need to defend themselves.
It's only one sentence. Even Joe could probably do it and not mess it up. Senator, thank you for being with us.